that she is pulling that highly in 3 points on him in Iowa is huge. Because if it can be extrapolated for the rest of the country, it is a blowout tomorrow night.
So this has been a bit of a chaotic week for Donald Trump. How do you think that the campaign feels right now?
If I'm in the campaign, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm really scared. He has had the hardest landing, roughest landing of any presidential candidate in history. I mean, this is a man who has alienated the Puerto Rican vote in the last, 2 weeks of the campaign, right as early voting was getting started. This is a man who has made gaffe after gaffe after gaffe, saying that he wants to put Liz Cheney before a firing squad.
His daughter's a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. When the guns are trained on her face. They're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy. But she's a stupid person. And I'd have meetings with a lot of people, and she always wanted to go to war with people.
And I mean, just today, he was talking about at a rally how he wouldn't mind if people shot the press.
To get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news, and I don't mind that so much.
I mean, he is showing America who he really, really is in these days, and I think that's the exact opposite of what the campaign wanted him to do.
Doesn't it also kind of pose potential legal problems for Donald Trump, because making a threat like that would violate his parole?
Absolutely. Well, not only that, she used to have protection. So, I mean, that's the other thing. It's like, you have threatened an American citizen, a private citizen of the United States. And guess what? He has also said that he is coming after his enemies. That's me, Yeah. And so he is not who anyone should ever want in leadership in any country, anywhere in the world, but especially not at, the seat of democracy internationally.
Yeah. What do you think that the October surprise was?
I don't know that there was just one. I think the October surprises have been coming since January 6, 2021. I think, again, people know. I think the biggest surprise was the idea that he did that Madison Square Garden event and thought it was going to be something positive. I mean, this is a man who, like I said, insulted Puerto Rico that probably cost him Pennsylvania.
Literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
And so, that was a surprise, that he could be that stupid. You're hosting what looks like a Nazi rally, the Nazi rally that was hosted at the exact same location in 1939. So, I mean, that was a shock. Like, you're going to come straight out and do that. Him doubling down and doing the garbage truck was a weird surprise. I mean, this campaign can be wrapped up in one word, and that word is weird. Yeah. It's been a weird cycle with this group of people.
Yeah. And we spoke to Chuck Todd over the weekend, and he said it almost feels like Trump, he's lost this momentum this weekend, and in 2016, this was at the point where he kind of reined things in a little bit more, at least for Trump. And he's not reining it in. He's going, saying things that are more shocking. And it kind of feels like maybe he doesn't even want to win.
I mean, I've thought that myself, but I don't think that that's the case. I really think the problem is he's got a pea brain, and he's got so much weighing on that pea brain right now that he's making stupid mistakes. I mean, it's like if you're running down a hill and you trip, you're not going to just trip once. You're going to trip the rest of the way down the hill. And I think that that's where he is right now. I think that he cannot recover. He cannot recover. And he knows that sentencing is coming on the 29th. So, he's looking past the election and going, holy moly, if I don't win, I'm going to jail. And I may never, ever, ever get out. And so, I mean, there's a lot weighing on that pea brain that's causing him to make some really dumb decisions. And there's nothing that his people, his handlers can do because he's not handleable.
And, and then recently we've talked a lot about his campaign funds and kind of the issues that there's been around there. He went to Albuquerque, which part of it was, why are you going to New Mexico? You're probably not going to win that state. and then he couldn't go to his rally because he had unpaid bills.
He has them all over the country.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that's so crazy. This is a guy who defaults on his bills all the time. He always has. The idea that he is a good businessman was sold as a bag of rotten trash to the American people when NBC gave him The Apprentice. And I think I saw an editorial this past weekend where they were regretting having ever done that because it presented him as something he is not. He is not a successful businessman. This is the only man alive who could run a casino into the ground. And we're going to let him be in charge of this? I mean, come on.
I wanted to ask you about the Iowa poll. I mean, do you think it's realistic that Kamala Harris could win Iowa? And what's that?
I think that it's Occam's razor. I think the most obvious answer is the answer. I think she's kicking his butt. I mean, she hasn't spent any money in Iowa, and neither has Trump. They haven't done TV. They haven't gone to Iowa since the caucuses. And so, I mean, it's the fact that she is pulling that highly in 3 points on him in Iowa is huge. Because if it can be extrapolated for the rest of the country, it is a blowout tomorrow night. I mean, if that poll is to be believed, and there's no reason we have to not believe it, she is the most reliable pollster in the business. If it is to be believed, Florida is in play, Texas is in play, Ohio is in play. I mean, places that we would never think she could win could be in play. It's going to be fascinating to watch.
Do you think part of that's down to the fact that, there was an article, I think it was in Politico, about how, North Carolina, which is the state that he really needs to win.
Yes.
If he doesn't win North Carolina, he's in trouble. There's a lack of campaign infrastructure there. He's just not got everything set up there in these kind of states that he should be winning.
Oh, that's absolutely right. Listen, I live in Florida. Florida went super red. We have Ron DeSantis as our governor. Matt Gaetz is my congressman, okay? And in Florida, there is no infrastructure for Trump. In Florida, they're not door knocking in the panhandle where they absolutely have to get that vote, especially after they've lost the Puerto Rican vote in the I-4 corridor. There is no infrastructure anyway because the entire campaign was a grift. The entire campaign was for Trump to make money to get his legal bills paid, for his consultants to make money. Chris LaCivita, his main consultant, made $22 million just at the last FEC report. There will be more coming on that. It was a grift, and his supporters were had. They were taken.
Would you feel comfortable telling me who you think is going to win tomorrow?
I am very happy to tell you who I think is going to win because in my soul, I don't ever bet against America. I don't bet against democracy, and I've learned not to bet against the American people. And I am telling you right now, this country, what you're seeing, I mean, there's history here. There is something here that you can hold on to. And this country is not going to vote for a guy who's going to undo all of it.